Alexander. First of all, he's playing tonight too, so everybody make sure you come up with the crowd. I'm going to try to play some of the music before we leave too, so you can hear it. James Alexander is a bassist and founding member of the Barkay'S, the legendary Memphis band known for hits including Soulfinger, Son of Shaft, Shake Your Rump to the Funk, and Holy Ghost. The Barkay'S began as a powerful backing band for the Stax Volt Records. But just as their career was beginning to take off, all of the Barkay'S except Alexander and trumpeter Ben Calling were tragically killed in a plane crash that also claimed the life of Otis Redding. After a period of mourning and great loss, Alexander reformed the group, which supported Isaac Hayes on classic albums including Hot Buttered Soul and Shaft. The new lineup became known for its fierce live show, including a set of famous Wax Stax concert, and continued making hits throughout the next several decades. They celebrated their 40th anniversary last year, and he's been releasing music right up to now, which we'll talk about as well today.
Thank you so much. First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody here to Memphis. I am a Memphian, and I'd like to welcome Davey B and all the guests here in Memphis. One thing that you probably have noticed about being around here, you know, people around here speak from the heart. You know, like it or not, like them or not, they speak from the heart. And you probably already knew that this is not a good place for vegetarians. This is the barbecue capital of the world, okay? So, you know, vegetarians, you know, I'm used to dealing with eccentric people because, you know, I'm in the music business and I'm a music type myself, but vegetarians, it's not good for you. But anyway, just let me start by saying that, yes, I've seen some of the glory years in the music business, but before I do that, I'd like to say that some of the important groups that, as you well know, some of the most important groups in the world have come from around here, from Isaac Hayes to 3-6 Mafia. I mean, you know, and all in between. I had the pleasure of working with both. I had the pleasure of playing on Theme from Shaft with Isaac Hayes and 8 other albums with Isaac Hayes. I also had the pleasure of working the 3-6 Mafia song and all of their projects, Tear the Club Up and all of that stuff, and seeing those guys grow up and last year win an Oscar. Yes. And be with Isaac Hayes, who won the first Oscar as a musical composition. So, you know, I've seen a lot out of it. When radio, and growing up in radio and growing up in the music business, there was a time when DJs, a DJ, say like for instance, a guy by the name of Georgie Woods, Jimmy Bishop, I don't know if you people have heard of these guys, but they were legendary in Philadelphia. They were the biggest, they were the biggest jocks in Philadelphia. So big into the fact, artists like ourselves had to go in and do shows for them. If you went in and do a show for Georgie Woods and Jimmy Bishop at the Uptown Theater in Philadelphia, on the marquee it would be Georgie Woods, Jimmy Bishop present, and then their name would be real big like that, and then the Barkay'S would be the Barkay'S. It'd be real small. So that's the power that they had in Philadelphia. They were like legendary. There were also people in Chicago by the name of E. Roddy Jones, and there were people like this all over the country. These guys would have a conference call. If they decided that they wanted to break an act, it was a done deal. All the artists had to do is just go around and just maybe do a show, not do a free show. Just go around and they might ask you to do one on the Lolo. You know, it's called the Lolo. You do a show for the Lolo, but the thing about it is your record was going to get broke in that city. With all this consolidation and the Telecom Act and all of this stuff, it prevented a lot of stuff. I mean, you know, for instance, like Clear Channel. Clear Channel is like a cookie cutter situation right now. I mean, you know, the same record that you hear in Memphis, Tennessee might be the same record you hear in New York. And everyone in here knows that the tastes of the people in New York and the tastes of the people in Memphis are different. I mean, you know, it cut out the authenticness of the music business, and that's not good. That's not people up in there that don't even know anything about music. I mean, you know, I was at a station, true story. I was at a Clear Channel station the other day, and we were standing up in the lobby, and a guy introduced me. He says, "Hey, this is James Alexander of Barkays," and he said, "What's that? Is that the name of a? What is that? The name of a new super? The name of a new magazine or something?" He didn't know. In the corporate world, they don't even know anything about radio. They don't know anything about the artists. They don't even know about how the game goes, and that's a bad thing. But in the olden days, I mean, you know, I don't want to say the olden days, but you know, just growing up, I mean, you know, we got a chance to see a lot of things happen. We got a chance to see a lot of acts break and so forth. And now the people like Clear Channel, but there are others too. There's one that's supposed to be a black-owned company called Radio One, which is the largest African American communications company in the country. And you know, and I hope nobody from Radio One is in here because they're one of the worst. I mean, for as you know, for breaking, you know, for as breaking acts. I mean, you know, I'm sorry. Yeah, and oh, they just hired as the senior VP of programming for Radio One. Now, this is an all urban, I mean, African American radio company. They just hired a guy by the name of Jay Stevens, who was at CBS Radio, who is a Caucasian. I mean, no, you know, nothing against Caucasians, black or white or nothing like that, but he's going to be the senior VP of programming for Radio One, which is the largest African American radio company in the country. You know, not because of the black and white situation. It's a sad state of affairs because, you know, I mean, I just say on record that he just really probably doesn't know how the story goes.
So James, tell us some of the good news though, because I love the story you told me on the phone the other day about putting out your recent record and actually getting local airplay on a local radio station. Tell me about that.
Well, a few years ago, we started an independent label called JEA Right Now Records, and which the Barkay'S, my artists, I mean, the group that I'm in is one of the artists. We have a record now that, in spite of all of the different changes and so forth, we've been able to get our record on the BDS media-based charts up to 33 with a bullet. We're breaking down some of those barriers, but we're not going in through the front door. We're going in through the side door. We're going in through the back door. But you know, we don't care which door we go in. You know, we're trying to get in where we fit in. And it's a shame that it has to happen that way. But hey, let's face it. I mean, you know, at this point in my life, I'm too old to get a day job. Music is what I've done, and you know, I'm like B.B. King. I probably end up being a guy that downstage. You know, we just had to stop belly aching about, you know, all the, you know, hey, we can't get this done, we can't get that done. And so one thing about it is, if the people hear your music, in spite of the radio stations, I mean, you know, there are ways through the internet and so forth to get your record sold. I mean, now, I mean, you know, someone said, I can't remember who it was, that there's nothing new under the sun. We've adapted back to doing things the old-fashioned way. When we do a concert, from the stage, we have a full house, we'll say, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be at the back of the building, taking pictures, signing autographs, kissing babies, we're doing whatever we have to do, but we also be selling our new CD that just came out. And believe it or not, I mean, you know, for a group like the Barkay'S that plays 75, 80 shows a year, and you do that times, just say 250 or 300. You know, that's still a lot. I mean, you know, because the traditional way of selling music, you know, we know what that all is. It's gone to the dogs. But there's still business out there to be done. That's the good news. The good news is the business is still be done. It's just that the roadmap that was created 50 some odd years ago, you know, that these record companies and people in radio and so forth have been going by, they may as well take that and tear it up, because it's a whole new game. It's a whole new day, but there's still business out there to be done. That's the good news.